Hello, and welcome to another episode of the More Minute. Today, I'm really excited to talk about how to leverage the mainframe in an open data lakehouse architecture and how to pull in this rich, important, critical mainframe data into the Gen AI models that are being trained from and pulled from a data lakehouse. And I'm also going to take you inside hands-on in the tool to give you a demo of what this looks like and how enterprises can really leverage mainframe data and pull that into their data lakehouses and then feed that into their enterprise Gen AI and AI models. So before we dive into unlocking the mainframe data for AI and analytics, let's first do a quick refresh on what this open data lakehouse is. And it's all about how we can leverage a multitude of data sources, different object stores, different data formats, and multiple different query engines, and how that can all be leveraged in order for enterprises to have more visibility, governance, and also reduce costs in their data estate. And so oftentimes, and many providers in the marketplace are doing this today, but often the mainframe data that's on these real system of records, historical information is often getting left off or getting excluded from this larger data lakehouse view. And I really want to show you the value of what watsonx can bring specifically in this space. So when we think about unlocking the mainframe data, just a few numbers of 96% of this processing can be offloaded. And this really helps customers reduce MEPS on the mainframe. And as you can see here, up to 135 times faster, being able to write data to an Iceberg data source, which is what's leveraged in X.data. And really, this is about how to enable bringing these mainframe data onto the business analytics and AI workloads, and how this is really done by being able to leverage one-way data replication, as you can see here, from the mainframe, whether that be DB2, whether that be vSAN, whether that be IMS data, and leverage this one-way replication through a solution called DataGate, and really bring that into watsonx.data and have it be just another one of many data sources that really enrich the value of having an integrated data lakehouse. So some of the core challenges that mainframe customers face is inconsistent copies of their mainframe data, asynchronous replication of those that really leverage and then require multiple solutions, which really add to the high cost. And customers really desiring to understand how they can be more cost effective, specifically with these major investments like the mainframe. Additionally, many of the ETL processes within the mainframe were written multiple decades ago, and they're manual and fragile processes to move off of the data, which can really limit the breadth of data that modern AI and Gen AI models can be trained on, just because of that lack of accessibility with the data from the mainframe. And these challenges can really be solved with watsonx.data and being able to leverage consistent copies of X.data, specifically using the open Iceberg format, and being able to offload some of the colder or archival data that may be in the mainframe that is not the most cost-effective place for it. Being able to move that to an expensive cloud object store is really a great way for enterprises to reduce their costs and be more strategic with what they choose to invest in around these mainframe legendary technologies. And finally, when you're able to access more data from the mainframe, you can use that to enrich the AI models and bring that into your larger data lakehouse governance point of view. And this is really done with DB2 for ZOS data within DataGate, really specifically for watsonx.data. This is a custom built synchronization that is that one-way replication, which is simple, fully integrated, nothing to install on the mainframe, which makes it easier to maintain, as well as it's isolated. So there's no impact to the transactional workloads that are really mission critical for so many enterprises, as well as being extremely efficient. So being able to improve your overhead throughput and latency in comparison to other technologies. And so now I'd love to take you through real world hands-on what that looks like. So here we are within watsonx.data, and we'll go into the infrastructure view where we can see all of the engines, all of the different metadata catalogs, all of the different data storage and buckets that's available. So we can dive into this specific object, and we can see that it's the type min.io. And then we can go in to synchronize this with specifically the Datagate technology that I just covered. And so here within the Datagate, you can see there are multiple different sources that you can choose from: DB2, ISAM, IMS, and VSAM. So we'll put in our credentials and move forward. We're going to specifically provision this with DB2. And so here we fast forwarded through that install process, inserting our TLS certificates, our passwords, the specific Datagate pairing name, really setting up. And then as we continue to configure, we can now go in and choose what specific schema, so where this data resides and how it's structured. And even within that, like what are the specific tables in that schema, as you could see, that we want to pull in. So maybe you don't want to put all of your data, from the mainframe, maybe specific data sources that are colder or archival in nature that can be run more efficiently in an object store. And so now we're within the query workspace, which is another view within x.data, and we have uploaded this schema working at a specific table, and to show and really make sure that the data is living in this schema within watsonx.data running on object store, we're going to pull a simple select statement here, and we'll get the results. And we'll run this using Presto, which comes out of the box as a query engine within x.data. And here you can see the result that pulling from this schema that's now living in watsonx.data. And so I hope that was informative for you. What's really powerful is being able to pull in this data that's living in sources that may be 50, 60 years old, but how that really rich, important data that's really mission critical for so many enterprises can help enrich AI and Gen AI models. And the technology to do that is really watsonx.data and Datagate for watsonx.data, being able to pull those files like DB2, IMS, BSAM, and really leverage that in an open enterprise, open data lakehouse architecture.